It's very
Yeah,
interesting to see how different countries are. Um,
yeah. I would imagine that, but our country is very diverse.
yeah, I heard that South Africa, like, there's a lot of parts that are very dangerous. Is that true? Like violent and stuff
Very
like
true.
that.
Very, very true. We've got like I think three of our main cities are in the top 10 most dangerous cities in the world.
Yeah, like, well, it's in the top 50. I read that. It's
Yeah,
like for the top 50 highest murder rates by city in the
yeah.
world, like I think it's like 3 or so are in South Africa.
In South Africa, yeah. It's
Um
Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Pretoria.
yeah, yeah. And then
Those.
the rest are in Central and South America. And then there is 4 that are in the US. One is San Juan, Puerto Rico. Another, because the US owns Puerto Rico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Detroit, Michigan, St.
Yeah, I would have
Louis,
thought Troy.
St. Louis, Missouri,
Mhm.
and Baltimore, Maryland. Which, it's crazy
Yeah.
to think that, like, a first world country like the U.S. and then is South Africa considered first world? Oh, okay,
No, it's like
I
trash
wasn't sure.
status. I think like third world.
Oh, okay, but like the U.S. is a first world country, the only first world
Yeah.
country on that list. You know what I mean? That's
Oh
bad.
yeah, that's bad. That is
Hmm.
bad.
So
I mean,
yeah,
we've got the most dangerous gangs in the world.
yeah, I'm not
Like in
surprised.
the Cape, our Cape Town gangsters are really, really bad.
Yeah,
Like they've done documentaries on them. They've got their own language even
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I
that
heard
only
also
they can speak. It's really hectic.
I also heard that the HIV problem there is really bad. Is that true? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is, but it's weird. It's been apparently it helped against COVID. I don't know how, but it,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
interesting.
the medication that HIV patients use
Yeah,
apparently had a positive effect on the COVID,
interesting.
but I don't know.
Yeah, but South Africa, is it? I would assume, is it better than all those other surrounding countries, right?
I mean, crime wise, no, but we have a stronger economy
Okay.
compared to other countries, and we're more advanced than most countries.
Okay.
Like some countries, we used to have like the best electricity in the world with our ESCOM and the best highways and all of that, but that's gone to shit with the new government. But I mean, South Africa is really up there at one stage,
Yeah.
and our currency. I don't know if you know this was at one stage it was stronger than the US dollar.
Interesting. Wow.
Well, I
Yeah.
think so. It was really close, like really, really close. And that was when we were at our peak. But
Okay.
that was in apartheid. But let's
Yeah.
not talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, the I hear that for Africa, the best countries economically and otherwise, for the most part, in comparison to like the rest of the African countries, happen to be
Yeah,
those
yeah,
North African Arab countries. So like Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco,
yeah, yeah.
uh, like those countries. I hear in comparison to all the others are more like, civil,
Yeah.
this,
It's
that,
like
or whatever.
the edges of Africa.
Yeah,
Like the middle part is still very, very African. Like there's still
underdeveloped.
people, yeah, very underdeveloped. No highways, just gravel roads and
Villages.
yeah, farming. That's basically what they are.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
It's
And
weird.
yeah. And how's the drug problem there? Is like there a bad drug problem or no?
Yeah. I
Crazy.
mean, I did a school project on it, and it's actually pretty scary. Like the youngest addict in South Africa, I think, was something like a 6 or 7 year old drug dealer in Johannesburg, and he's like a straight up gangster
That's
at 6 or 7.
crazy.
And the we have the highest what's it called? You know when someone drinks while they're pregnant?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have the highest rate of that in the world by like far.
that's so
And then
bad.
also, and one of the towns in South Africa, there's one that's like especially high, and it's like one out of three kids they born have the alcohol.
Alcohol syndrome.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I only know how to pronounce it in Afrikaans, so I
Yeah.
didn't know the English word for it.
Yeah. Damn. That's horrible. What are the main drugs people are addicted to there?
Um, they call it tuk, but I think it's kind of like meth, or it's like a variant of meth.
Yeah, let me
I
look
think
it up. What's the name of it?
just tuk,
Is it like
like
TUK?
that.
Oh,
TIK.
TIK drug. Um. Oh yeah. It says tick, crystal meth in Cape Town. Yeah.
And then obviously the weed
Yeah.
and
So
all of
so
that.
that so tick is meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Here.
then also, you know the flocka thing?
Yeah.
That it was pretty bad here. Like a
Was
lot
it?
of people took flocka
Yeah.
and they got fucked up on the
Yeah.
flocka. It was really bad in South Africa for stadium.
They only really did that in like Florida and like Alabama here.
Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
news and all them
Yeah.
turning into zombies and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But for
But it was scary. You know, like people legit ran into cars and ripped doors off and shit. They went
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, here it depends what part of the country you're at of what's more crazy of a
Yeah.
drug. Like here in my part of the country, all these like northeastern states, so Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
All these states, it's a high opiate addiction. So like heroin,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Heroin.
fentanyl. Um, and fentanyl has been the thing that a lot of people have been using more than heroin now. The past 5 years, fentanyl is like 100 times stronger than
What?
heroin. Yeah, it's like
Damn.
it's an opiate like heroin, but it's like 100 times stronger. So that's why even more people have been dying
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
in this part of the country. But then when you get to the south, so like
Yeah.
Tennessee, Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, uh,
Texas, all of those.
those and like New Mexico, and like all those places, that's where there's
Mhm.
a lot of meth. So like meth
Uh,
tick or whatever,
yeah.
and yeah, so like the way it gets there is because of Mexico, like
Yeah.
like cartels and gangs,
And the cocaine probably there as well.
and then also like random meth labs or whatever in like trailers
Yeah.
or stuff like that. Um, but
Like Breaking Bad type of stuff.
yeah, yeah. So, but Coke isn't a bad problem here in the U.S. because it's very expensive.
Expensive, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
so not
It's
many
very
people use it
expensive.
at all. And then also because there's so many other drugs that are stimulants, people
Mm.
just instead do those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, crazy,
I
crazy.
mean, isn't weed legal in
So,
the
so
whole country now?
not the whole country. For a number of years, there's been a lot of states that had medical marijuana. So, meaning you're able to get it if
Yeah.
you have like medical license or whatever.
Conditions or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But for recreational, um, I forget how many states there are that are recreational now, but I think it's probably like 15 to 20 states are recreational. My state is recreationally legal. They legalized it in my state I think 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so like weed is fine. Uh, it's interesting though here in the U.S. Here in the U.S., most people like there's a lot more weed smokers than tobacco users. Like a lot more. It's very common.
Really?
Yeah, it's very common here in the U.S. for people to use
Wow.
weed. Yeah, it's because people prefer weed.
That's
And also another reason is because the advertisements throughout the years of cigarettes and all that stuff, to like say that it's bad or whatever
yeah.
worked. Um, so
Yeah,
Yeah. But weed, it's very, very, very common.
yeah. Our country just gives a shit. Like we have a lot of smokers in South Africa,
Yeah. Like more than
like
half of my friends use
cigarettes.
weed. Yeah, more than half of my friends use weed,
Mm.
like smoke weed. But do
Yeah, a
they
lot
have?
of my friends as well.
Oh, okay. Are they strict with like getting in trouble for weed, like in South Africa?
Mm, kind of. Like it's legal in South Africa to use it at your own house,
Oh,
and
okay.
you can grow it on your own, but
Okay.
you can't sell it.
Sell it.
That's
Yeah,
illegal.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
if you can have weed on you, and you won't get in trouble if it's at your own house or your own car, whatever. No, if it's in your car, you will get trouble because then you're like transferring it. But
Yeah.
at your own house, it's completely legal.
When did they legalize it?
Actually, like recently, I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh
Wasn't that
wow.
long ago.
Yeah, that's good. Um, how's the prison system there? Is it like really dangerous and bad, or what?
It's really dangerous in prison. It's
Yeah.
really dangerous in prison,
Yeah.
especially in the main cities.
Mhm.
I mean, that those gangs I talked about, they rule those prisons, and you could easily die, and nothing would happen at all. I
Do
mean, it's crazy. And
in South Africa?
people want to go to prison. Like a lot of the people commit crimes to go to prison
Why is that? That they want to?
to because they have this stupid idea. Now they're gonna have a roof over their head and food,
Oh,
and then they
yeah.
do that, do stupid crimes just to get into prison.
And I don't
So
know how their situation is, but is it like better or worse than what situation they were in before? You know what I mean?
I'm guessing it's probably the same. I mean, a lot of the people are in we call them plakkerskampe.
Yeah.
Um, it's like really poor places, and they don't have houses. They have shacks.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of shacks. Like they put it together with just normal wood or tinfoil roof. You know, the roof that goes like this, and you just bang that shit together, and it's really big places. And I'm guessing a lot of them don't have money to buy food, so
Mhm.
I'm guessing prison is probably better.
Yeah,
So
that's
I can
crazy.
understand why they would do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of people like when there are people that are from like El Salvador or Honduras or Mexico or Guatemala or whatever that come from the poor areas from there, like illegally to the US or whatever. Like they live like they feel like they're living in absolute
Yeah,
luxury when they live in the projects here. Cause like the projects, like poor people in the U.S. are
yeah.
living
Literally,
like
it's
luxuriously compared to the poor people in like all of the third world countries. You know what I mean? And then like it's interesting because
yeah,
like a number of projects I've been in and stuff like that, like visiting friends or whatever. They have like giant flat screen TVs, nice sofas. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's very different here
There was
versus.
actually a article a couple of years ago to one of the people that stay in one of the projects, and I think it was Cape Town,
Hmm.
and it looks like a shack from outside. It's fucking wood and roof tinned together. But when
Yeah,
you walk in, it looks like a mansion. Like he's got marble floor, big bed, and a TV and everything. And
isn't
it's
that
scary how
crazy?
good they can build.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, and I was like, I'd live there. That looks cool.
I know, but there's also that the thing that sucks and is annoying is like there's lazy people in every country. Like here, there's people that like say they're like depressed or this or that or whatever, so then they can get disability, so then they can live off of disability here. Do they have disability in your country?
Yeah, but like, I think it's more strict than over there. I
Yeah,
mean, you really need to be fucked to get disability here
yeah.
because, yeah, I don't know. I
Like
haven't seen a lot of people with it.
here you can get it if you have like HIV, if you uh like are more lower functioning autistic, if you have like
Mm-hmm. Than a
schizophrenia,
normal person,
other
yeah.
yeah. So like there's certain things where it's like a stretch of why do they get it, and then there's other things like they should deserve it, you know. So
Obviously, yeah.
yeah,
But I mean, there's certain aspects to depression because some people really do have it serious and
yeah,
they're having suicidal thoughts and they're thinking of doing it. I mean, those people. But
yeah,
there's some like teens and people that just they're feeling down the one day and now they're depressed. Like, come on, get
yeah,
the fuck over it.
yeah,
That
yeah. No, like, but
there's
meaning
no way
the
you can prove it though. So,
well, yeah, well, meaning like there are certain people like that I know of that did that not because they are actually depressed, but because they would get the disability, which is horrible.
but see, that's just exploiting.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
people
I
who
mean,
exploit.
you got to. But I mean, if you really need to,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
I'll
One
just.
one thing that is difficult here though is do they have criminal records there in South Africa? Like you get a criminal, yeah.
Yeah,
Like here, if you get
yeah.
a criminal record, like it can make it extremely hard for you to get a job. Like most jobs you won't be able to do because of that.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
No, like
Which
exactly the same here. Like it totally.
which I
If you have a
think
criminal record in South Africa, you can't go to college.
really, wow. That you can still do here. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Now that it fucks your whole life, literally.
yeah. But here though, it's very easy to get in legal trouble. Here they're like most of the time they're like almost all the time they're like just like me they do everything legally, you know what I mean, with the legal process. But the thing is the US, the reason why there's so many people incarcerated or whatever are multiple reasons, but the biggest reason is because people a lot of people don't realize that here in the US they're so strict about every kind of law, and they actually follow through with like, you know, convicting people with it and stuff like that. They don't let people get away with stuff. And then
Yeah.
and then on top of it, they're really good at catching criminals. There's so much surveillance, this, that, or whatever. Versus like a lot of other countries,
Yeah.
like they let stuff slide, this and that. You know what I mean? Or they don't have
Yeah.
such intense security and police here. But
Yeah. Like we when we had our lockdown, the beaches were closed and you couldn't like even walk on the beach. There was you'd immediately get a fine. And two of my friends went surfing the one day and they got caught. They got like a 500 rand fine,
that's
and
crazy.
they went to court because they didn't want to pay it and they didn't want the criminal record because we like just turned 18 and it was like a big thing
Oh,
and we
that would
wanted to
go
go to
on your
university and they like
yeah.
took it to court and then the court said
Wait, what did the court say?
no, they overruled it because at the end of the day the whole country had so many people surfing and just not giving a shit that
Yeah.
they couldn't like only give these two people a hearing or give them a criminal record because then they would have to give everyone they caught.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, they got lucky. Wow, that's crazy. Damn.
Yeah, they did.
Is this is a random specific law, but like, you know, do you know what trespassing is?
Trespassing, yeah?
Yeah, do you know what that is? Yeah, so like
Yeah.
there's a number of like properties in the US that like let's say an old building or whatever, an old psychiatric hospital or whatever, like an abandoned place or whatever. Um or just random areas that you're not allowed to be at a certain time at night, you know what I mean? Let's say 7 p.m. the park closes or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, the thing that sucks is, at least I know in Massachusetts, I'm assuming in every state, is um, trespassing is a felony. So there's a difference. Do you know what a felony is and a misdemeanor is? Okay, that's like the legal system here in the
I'm
U.S.
I'm guessing a I'm
Felony
guessing a
is
felony is like you get a criminal record, and then the other thing is like a lower
it's
class tres thing. I don't
so
know.
misdemeanor is it's also on the criminal record, but misdemeanor, I forget what it is, but I think after like 5 years it goes away or something like that or more. Uh,
Yeah,
but felony, it's like a federal offense, so meaning a national offense instead of a state offense. And it's also permanent, and more intense of a
shit.
punishment or whatever. So,
Yeah,
like, let's say if there's an 18-year-old that went to a random abandoned hospital or whatever, to take photos and be, a kid or whatever,
yeah,
and he got caught, then he gets a felony charge, and then his life is like ruined because of that. You know what I mean? So, and it's
that's
crazy because
crazy.
here, like, once you get a criminal record, most people reoccur crimes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's bad. Is that the same there? That like if you get in legal trouble, then you like keep on getting in legal trouble?
yeah. I mean, a lot of the people obviously don't learn, and a lot of people make their living off of crime. Yeah,
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
poverty.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of people just keep on doing what they're doing and
Mm-hmm.
steal and murder, whatever.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a thing that it keeps happening
that's
a lot.
crazy. Do you think do you think South Africa is gonna get better over time, or do you think it's still gonna stay this way for like 50 years or more?